Coming up on Food for Thought, it's Diabetes University. This episode's guest speaker is Betty Figlure. She'll be discussing stress management and its relation to diabetes. You're watching Food for Thought on MCTV. Everybody has to eat, but not everyone knows nutrition. To help solve this crisis, Food for Thought provides some helpful info to show how to eat healthy. Now, we don't promise to return you to your high school playing weight or that you'll be able to squeeze back into a size 8 dress, but we will help you choose healthy meals that are quick and cheap. Each episode is produced with the help of the Hospitality Management Department at Montgomery College and the Marriott Hospitality Center on the Rockville campus. Food for Thought is an MCTV production. You can view this program and many others anytime on our YouTube and podcast sites. Okay, so you've had the appetizer, now for the meal. Let's gather the ingredients and start cooking. In this episode of Food for Thought, we present a lecture given by Betty Figlure. She delivered this presentation at the Diabetes University event held on March 6, 2010 at Montgomery College's Rockville, Maryland campus. Ms. Figlure is a Jinshin Jitsu practitioner and certified yoga instructor who operates a private practice in Rockville, Maryland. Diabetes University is a free informational program for the public that highlights alternative and complementary research and treatment for diabetes. Diabetes University is a free informational program for the public that highlights alternative and complementary research and treatment for diabetes. It is sponsored by the nonprofit Diabetes Action Research and Education Foundation, known as Diabetes Action. Each spring, Montgomery College hosts Diabetes University. For more information about Diabetes Action Charity or its Diabetes University programs, please go to diabetesaction.org.
I was diagnosed with type 1 diabetes, adult onset. And this is after being a vegetarian for years. However, I had lived and traveled extensively in India and did get very sick there. So anything can come into your body and affect you. And then there are genetics, of course. So there's a lot of things that go into it. But I will tell you this, as a massage therapist and a Jinshin Jitsu practitioner, in our professions today, in alternative healthcare, what is called complementary healthcare today, we are seeing so much more of fibromyalgia. We are seeing people, with so much more diagnoses of type 2 diabetes, headaches, all kinds of things that are going on. And I'm always telling people, are you consuming a lot of gluten, and can you stay away from it? And it's a difficult thing to do because for people that have children that have celiac, etc., your talk was great, that the diet can be very strict. But once you get used to it, I have seen people feel much better and improve completely. So it's something that's good to look into for yourselves. The other thing is that we have been talking about the body and what affects the body. And as diabetics, we all know that we have to walk a very particular line of balance. But that's true for anybody. And today, the stresses that we all have, the economy, raising a family, looking for a job, whatever it might be, also impact everything that you do. So the thing that I want to address is what you can do for yourself, some very simple things that you can do for yourself on a daily basis to help yourself and get your body going in a better sense of balance. You cannot separate body, mind, and spirit. How you are feeling about yourself, about your loved ones, about life in general has a great deal to do with how your body feels and how it reacts. And I touch bodies every day. And it's amazing to me how much stress is being held in bodies. You need to stretch. You'll lose flexibility as you get older if you do not. You need to exercise in some form. Do something that makes you happy. One of the things that I have been a practitioner of for many, many years is something called Jin Shin Jitsu. In Jin Shin Jitsu, we teach people to help avoid emotional stress by being able to touch themselves. So you have it right here in your hands. It's not something you have to go buy, and it's something that you can do easily. And the way that we teach people is very simple. We say the thumb represents worry. And if you look at your sheet, you will see that what that is related to on the organ level of the body is the stomach and spleen. So worry happens, when the kids haven't brought the car back at 10 o'clock and that was their curfew, and it's already going to be 11:30, and you're getting really upset because where are they, and nobody called, even though they all have cell phones in the car. So what do you do to calm down a little bit while you're busy getting, I'm going to really give them a hard time when they get home? You can hold your thumb, and that's all you have to do is hold it. You're not pressing, you're not pushing anything, you're just holding it. So you can stand there and hold your thumb. What does that affect the stomach and the spleen? What happens when you get worried? This stuff starts churning, right? Happens in the office when you get really upset that you haven't finished something that was supposed to be due. But then, of course, if the kids haven't returned the car, you might start getting really afraid. My God, they're lying by the roadside somewhere. What's happened? The index finger, we say, represents fear. And that represents kidney and bladder. And you don't have to remember the organs of the body. Just remember what they represent. I have a lot of people that I know from a business group that I was in that I have given this activity to. And I still have people come up to me, men who you wouldn't think would be interested in some of this, who say to me, boy, every time I go to the dentist and they're going to give me a shot, I hold that index finger, and you know what? It really helps. It calms me down. So you can try these things and see how they work for you. The middle finger is, guess what? Anger or anxiety. So if you are at this point really mad that the kids haven't called, you can hold your middle finger, and that's going to help the liver and the gallbladder on the internal level. It will calm you down. And you can always put your thumb into the palm of your hand, which helps anxiety. The ring finger represents sadness. And look what that affects, lung and large intestine. And what happens when you're crying and you're upset or you're really sad? Your breathing becomes affected, first of all. And in this community around here, I would say that 3/4 of my clients have respiratory projects. We live in an area that has so many wonderful trees. We have so much growth. We have a lot of allergies. We have a lot of respiratory things. We have a lot of asthma going on, etc. So the ring finger is sadness, and that is respiration as well. And the little finger. The little finger represents what my teacher called trying to, but that's really type A personalities. I have to do this, I have to do that, I'm in charge of it, if I don't do it, the universe will fall apart. We get ourselves very worked up, and where does that go? The heart. And it's related right up into the heart. And it's either hand. You can use either hand, and whichever hand that you decide to work on is the side of the body that needs it, because there are flows left and right. We are one body. So these are some things that you can do for yourself when you're feeling these stressful emotions, and then you can get back to me if you like and tell me if they have helped you. The thing of it is, I tell people all the time, hold your fingers. And if you're very exhausted, and maybe you take the metro to and from work, just going through the hands, holding the fingers, will get all the organs of the body into a better sync with each other. So I have people who help their body every day by going through the fingers. And when you know what they're related to, then you know that you can do something for yourself. There is a way of de-stressing or helping yourself by touch, and I'm going to show you what that is, and I'll tell you a little bit about what each thing is helping. You're going to take, this is participatory as a matter of fact, and you can do this sitting down, standing up, or lying down. I like to do it in the morning before I get out of bed. A lot of my clients tell me they do it at night to help them fall asleep, and sometimes they don't even get through the whole thing, and they'll call and say, I only got part way done. Is that wrong? Did I mess up my body energy? No, there's no way you're going to hurt yourself. Your body reacts the way that it can. So what you're going to do is you're going to take your right hand, put it on top of your head. And then the left hand is going to move down the body. The first step is it goes to what we call the third eye, which is right in the center of the forehead. And then it goes to the tip of your nose, to the V of the clavicle, which is that little indentured place between the clavicle bones, center of the chest, right on the sternum, to the base of the sternum, depends how long your breastbone is. Then your hand goes to your belly button. And the left hand will move down on the pubic bone. Finally, the right hand is going to come back and hold the coccyx, so you're kind of like a sandwich. Okay? You do this for a few minutes or until you feel a pulsation in the fingers of both hands. A lot of times when you start doing this, you don't feel that, and that's fine. So just hold it for like a minute or two and let it relax you. Breathe deeply as you're doing this. Step one with the hand on top of the head helps revitalize the deep body energy circulation. It works as a personal diuretic, helps fatty and sugar metabolism. It helps with forgetfulness, and this is really good for people who are beginning to show signs of dementia or Alzheimer's. If you visit people in nursing homes, if they can lift their arms, just tell them to hold the top of their head. You know how sometimes when people are trying to think about something, they automatically put their hand here to the center of their head anyway? Well, that helps the total regenerative parts of the body along with the top of the head. And it helps center you and get into the pituitary and the pineal gland. It's sending energy there. Very important for hormonal types of things. And there are a number of other types of things that this helps. The step with putting your finger on your nose, what do you think that helps? That helps regenerative types of things and reproductive functions. The whole body, it's one thing. Step 3 helps the intellectual, logical expression. It's at the thyroid, the parathyroid. It helps the muscular control of face and regulates calcium intake. It's good for arthritic conditions, immunity, acidity, helping you to adapt to the environment. That's like if things are too hot or too cold. And a number of other respiratory functions, etc. Step 4, of course, is at the heart. And that does help heart. It helps the thymus gland. Helps mental development, physical problems with vital organs. It's a natural cancer preventative, and it helps us to get centered into our heart as we think of it as more than an organ. Step 5 helps something that we all need. That's the spleen and the adrenal, liver, bladder, kidneys, hormones, digestive juices, lymphatic glands, the nervous system, and the breath of life. Step 6 at the solar plexus helps the solar plexus. helps the heart, the spine, reproductive motor nerves, small and large intestine absorption. We were just talking about that. Step 7 harmonizes everything head to toe. It helps body chemistry, it helps balance, it helps the hips and thighs, the bladder, and the revitalizing descending source of energy, which is down the front. And when you move your hand from the top of the head and you're holding the coccyx with that, you are helping to send the energy back up the back so the process can begin again. Close your eyes. Exhale down the front of your body. Let your shoulders become soft. And then inhale fully. So you're going to watch your inhalation and your exhalation. The mind controls the body. The breath controls the mind. And the way that you begin to understand this is that as you breathe, as you focus on nothing else but your breath, even if you have to say to yourself, inhale, exhale, it stops this chatter that goes on up here. That's the chatter of trying to, I have to do this, oh, I forgot to do that. Gee whiz, so-and-so said this to me, whatever it is. It becomes a lot of clutter, and the mind is going constantly. When I lived in India, the teachers there used to call it monkey mind, jumping all over the place, and it is. And when you do that, you take your body out of a harmonious situation, and you are ready to react and go into fight or flight syndrome whenever you need to. You get angry, you get off what you're doing. It becomes a whole syndrome, and you wonder why you're feeling crazed. So let's try this together. I'm going to take you through a small breathing exercise like we just did. And listen, you can do this at your office. You can close your eyes for a minute. Exhale down the front. Inhale fully. And let everything settle down. So what I would ask you all to do is to sit very straight, very upright, so that your spine is aligned. Your feet are flat on the floor. Your hands are comfortably in your lap. Some of you may meditate or do this type of thing a lot. This is one way of doing it. Gently close your eyes. There's nothing to see up here. And guess what? Nobody else is paying attention to you, so you don't have to worry about that. And exhale fully. Let the breath go down the front to the feet. Inhale the energy of the earth up your back. Think of it going up your spine, coming up to the crown of your head, and exhale it down again. Let your shoulders be very soft. Let everything in your body become soft. Wherever you are holding, breathe into that spot if you need help there, or if there's an organ or something that is giving you problem. Direct your breath to that place as healing energy. And let yourself be very still, very quiet, very centered. When your mind wanders, which it will, come back to the breath. Focus on the breath. Just simply inhaling in and exhaling out. This is how you become aware of what's going on within you. Because the mind is going to play tricks as you're doing this. We'll probably start saying, oh, she's crazy, or she's whatever, or this is silly, or whatever it might say. Let that go for a second. See if you can spend 1 minute without commenting. Just focusing on the breath. Feeling yourself breathe. This is what sustains your life. And allow the breath to deepen within you. As you breathe in and out, you will see where you are actually breathing. If you can get it further down into your abdomen, that is great. If not, just wherever you are is fine. Come back to the breath if the mind is wandering, and just allow yourself the pleasure of breathing. This is what has gotten you this far anyway. You can do this at any time when you feel as though you are getting kind of shaken out of your natural state, when you feel totally upset, if you're in the office and being bothered by things, just breathe. And you probably hear people say that all the time. If you need a reminder how to focus, you can tap on the center of your chest and breathe in and out of that spot in the heart center. And we're going to take it a slight step further today with a visualization just to help you. Keep your eyes closed. Notice your breathing. You might be aware of how many times the mind starts coming in to interrupt you. Or maybe your body just starts to become softer and you become at ease. Let yourself be at ease. We don't have to hold the universe up, it takes care of itself. We don't tell the breath to come in and out every 5 seconds, it does that. Our bodies are incredible. So you're breathing smoothly. We're going to go a little bit further. See, sense, or feel as though standing before you with your eyes closed, you see a clear body, like a glass figure. And take a look at that. It's yourself. Look into it and see if there's anything that needs help at this moment. See if it comes up as color, a shape, tension. Just notice what it looks like for you. And as you do this, breathe into that area of your own body. Let the breath go there and loosen up whatever that might be. You can put a hand on it if you like. If there's tension somewhere, or you see it someplace in the body where you've had a problem in an organ, or if you have diabetic neuropathy in your feet, wherever, see that as changing shapes. Let it become something that you could actually pick up and throw away. Perhaps it turns red. Perhaps you see water come in and run through the body and let it go away, washing it out. Or a color emerges that helps it to go away and dissolve. If it's tension, wad it up in a ball, if you like, and simply throw it away. Let it go. We hold so much that they become the tumors and the things inside us that don't work correctly. Just let it go. And if this is hard for you, then just come back to the breathing and just breathe. See the body as clear again. See it washed out. See it full of light, as though it were the sunlight or a candle flame. And let that go through your interior body. Feel it as a warmth inside of yourself right now. Picture, if you will, that every cell of your being is dancing in the light, renewed, healing, revitalized. Allow your process to be whatever it is. If thoughts are coming in, just take note, but let them go to the side. You can reclaim that in a little bit. See if you see anything else. This is you. This is your interior self, your consciousness. And when we come home to it, it's the most lively, wonderful source for all inspiration and for your healing and for your good health. Breathe in deeply, breathe out deeply. And when you are ready, gently come back to this chair you are sitting in. Feel the body sitting in the chair. Feel the play of air on the face and the hands. Come back into this moment, this room, this reality, with attention. And when you are ready, simply blink the eyes to open. You have no idea how beautiful you all look, sitting and just breathing. You're not running around crazy. A peacefulness came over the room. There's a different energy in here now. So these are ways that you can work to help yourself, to get recentered when you need to, and we all need to, and it is very interesting times that we live in. So for your good health, remember that all you need to do, if you're really getting rattled and upset and you can't focus on whatever it is, and many people have a lot of things going on in their lives, just breathe deeply. And if you need to, close your eyes, focus inward for a few minutes, and let yourself feel your inner strength, because you all have it. You didn't lose it anywhere.
You've been watching Food for Thought on MCTV. For more information about Diabetes University, go to diabetesaction.org.